Hello and happy Wednesday, and welcome to this week's Midweek Reflection. I'm Father Michael Nasser, coming to you from here at St. Nicholas in Grand Rapids. Last week, I began talking about a bike trip I had taken the week before, where I was on a 2-day trip up to central Michigan from down here in southwestern Michigan. Um, and I talked a lot about physical beauty and seeing God's creation, how important it is to just stop and see it. Today, I want to talk about something related to that, and it's part of that idea of stopping. So often we want to see beauty, we want to have peace, but we don't often stop. And one thing I learned in those 2 days was how just slowing down, I mean, taking a bike is a lot slower than going in a car. I relearned that a mile is still long. In a car, a mile's quick. It's a minute or two, whatever. But when you're on a bike or you're walking, a mile is a long way. And that's not so much a commentary on distance, but time. It takes time to go a mile. It takes a lot longer to go several dozen miles when you're on a bike or you're walking or running. And one of the things I want to encourage all of you to enjoy that I enjoyed so much during that time was slowing down. And I know it's one of the hardest things we can do these days because we're in a world and a society that wants us to just get more done all the time. And that's fine. We can't change what the world is. What we can change is how we live in it. And taking time, actually making time to slow down and just see the world around is yes, but also slowing down enough to recover who we are. Sometimes we go at such a frenetic pace that we feel like we're losing our minds because sometimes we are. We got to just slow down. And actually, what I'm going to recommend is that we stop. Yeah, I slowed down by taking a bike, but then I would stop. And then I realized how good it is to stop, not just stop moving, but to just not stop time, but to, as we say so flippantly, be in the moment. And that's such a huge part, I think, of our sanity, and it's a huge part of our spirituality. We believe in a God who is eternal, meaning for him, everything is now. Every time is now. Um, but we're not. We want to join him in eternity, but right now we live in creation, which is this two-dimensional intersection between space, the physical world, and time. And time for us goes moment by moment, but so often we're so rushing to the future, or we're looking back in regret for the past, or longing for the past. But so often we don't just stop and just be in this moment. And why is it important? Yeah, it's good for a mental state. But that's that moment of intersection between us in this temporal world and the eternal God. We meet him now. And so I want to encourage everyone to slow down. You can't slow down the entire pace of life. A certain amount of the days are going to be rushing, and we got to do what we got to do. There's not a whole lot we can do about that. Do what we can to live at a sane pace. What we can do, every one of us, is take time, actually, more accurately, make time every day to stop. To stop and be, to stop and see again who we really are, and to stop again and see who God really is. So often we struggle when we go to church or we go to pray that our minds are racing and we feel bad. People come to confession. They say, Father, my mind's racing, or I can't, my mind drifts. I go and think about this, I think about the other thing. And I try to tell them, give yourself some grace because we go at this frenetic pace. Then you come to church and everything really does stop as we go and we encounter our God in the moment, this moment that we call now. And it's sort of like jamming on the brake. You're going down the road really fast, also you jam on the brake and you lurch forward. It's all that force of all the things we're doing. So it takes some time when we go to church or we just go to pray, to slow down and eventually to just stop and be with God. So I want to encourage all of us to try to do that more. Try to do it at least once a day, and to just stop and see again how, yeah, this world is challenging. We see it all around us, all things going on. We read about in the news and all the rest. But this life is still so filled, more than all that, with good because God is here. And when we slow down and then we stop, that's who we encounter. We encounter the living God that intersects with our life now. So make that time. Try to make it every day. Start the habit today. Take just a few minutes to slow down and stop and be with God. God bless you. Have a great rest of your week. And again, like always, if you found this useful, please share it with your friends. And God willing, we'll see you next week.